Tess of D'Urberville, chapter 6. So here in this chapter, this was after Tessa's visit to Alec D'Urberville's house, the Tantridge mansion. So there, when Tessa's way back to her home, she was with her berries, the roses and everything that she got. And also when she arrived at her home, it was a surprise that Tess got to know that her mother received a letter from D'Urberville family that Tess gained a position working as a farmer, or she could work at the chicken farm. So this was like here in this chapter, Hardy, you find Thomas Hardy further he establishes Tessa's unaware, like how Tess was unaware about her sexuality. She was she was completely innocent, and she was not aware of her sexuality that she presents, and she adorned to appear attractive to the others, and other people, the male especially, found that she was extremely innocent. Her innocence appeared to be very persuasive. The people were very they could easily persuade to win Tessa's heart or to love her. Then also you find Hardy specifically mentions about the seasons and the months and all, how the seasons and months going on parallel to Tessa's development and the things that Tess encounters in her life. So there you find it is mentioned as the roses blooming, and it was early June. So at the same time it was mentioned that Tess was turning to be 17 years at this time. Her birthday arrives and she was about to be 17 years old. So that was like the writer wanted to emphasize or highlights the fact that Tess is very fresh, as the face mentioned. She was a maid. She was very fresh, very innocent, very persuasive, attractive, and she adorned to appear attractive. And also how Tess, now the fate of Tess after receiving the letter from Alec D'Urberville mansion, Tantridge mansion, Tessa's mother John D'Urberfield, you can see her manipulative behavior, and how Tessa's mother continued to be irresponsible, how manipulative she is in front of her daughter, to use her daughter in order to find their survival. Tessa's father still, even in this chapter, Tess was not agree. She did not agree at the beginning, but when she finds her father was irresponsible as well as that she saw how helpless her father was at this time, how helpless, how hopeless. He had nothing to do regarding the family. So the only option was Tess to take the responsibility. So here you find a theme of sacrifice, how Tess was how she was ready to sacrifice and how she was ready to compromise herself in order to win the happiness, in order to find the survival of their family. Then also in this chapter, Tessa's arrival to Tantridge mansion, she was given a cart to drive through, and there Tessa's mother was expecting John D'Urberfield was expecting something more, and they were actually expecting finding a partner for Tess, and they were expecting to create a relationship with this family. So their option was they were taking Tess as their Tess was the only the fortune that they could use to for that. So at the same time, you can see how they were blind to the reality and how they were taking their daughter's life at a risk. And also you find about the superstitious beliefs or the ill omen, talking about the sense of fate, the inevitability of the fate. So while reading this chapter, you can pay attention regarding how fate is playing its role. So is it like, just think about whether is it the fate is the reason for all this? Is it the fate or the destiny of Tess responsible regarding what happened, or whether there are instances where Tess could take her own, where she could take her decisions? Was it the fate always responsible for what has happened to Tess? Can't we say like there are instances, no, Tess could take some opportunities, Tess could think beyond, rather than sacrificing herself for the happiness of her family. Why couldn't she think further? Even though like she knew from the beginning, Alec appeared to be very persuasive. His character, we discussed in the previous chapter also how his character dealt with the theme of sexuality, and Tess's ignorance also become a reason for this. And also the chapter makes a reference about the social context of at that time. The sons of wealthy families, they are taking the advantage, how they are taking the advantage of the young girls, especially the ones who come up as employees around their houses. Then how these young boys, the wealthy boys, especially the aristocrats, the land-owned gentry, how these kind of people take in the advantage of them. And also Hardy emphasizes most of these marriage, not the marriage, like most of these kind of relationships do not end up with a marriage. They are not going to marry these women, these girls. Sometimes it can be result, or it can these kind of encounters will end up with some dismal results. So like some, as what happened to Tess, you all know in the story, Tess became pregnant and she gave birth to a child named as Sorrow. So her future, how her future ended up as by taking this decision. But here, even in this chapter 6 also, you can see the how Tessa's life, how the destiny or how the fate becoming a challenge for her, and how Tess can be responsible at these kind of instances, and her extreme innocence, her character, Tessa's innocence, her ignorance. You can make a comment on her life. So that's what you can find in chapter 6 as the main points.